Gohar Ara, she died. The greatest poet of the kingdom wrote, "When Bilqis made her departure from this abode of dust, the Solomon of the age sat in mourning. The musicians' instruments went completely out of tune. The only sound was the breaking of hearts. And the earth thought, from the profusion of indigo mourning robes, that perhaps the blue sky had descended." The king lost his senses, crying without restraint. He went into seclusion and mourned for more than a year. And when he finally emerged, his hair had turned white, his back was bent, and his face was worn. The greatest jewelers of the age set to work to make for the king a salve for his broken heart. They chose the finest white jade, which was known to soothe the suffering of those who wore it. Shah Jahan's jade pendant was inscribed with verses from the Quran, which they hoped would help him recover from his grievous loss. He wore it close to his wounded heart. The words of God soothed his soul and gave him the strength to return to his throne. To distract himself from grief, he began work on a fitting memorial for his beloved. The finest craftsmen and designers, builders and sculptors were brought from across the kingdom to the city of Agra. Shah Jahan ruled for another 27 years, but he never recovered from the loss of his most precious jewel. The great Mughal sun that passed behind a cloud, never to emerge again. Eventually he fell ill and was imprisoned and deposed by his own son. When he died, his body was taken by river in a sandalwood coffin to be interred beside the body of his beloved wife in the mausoleum he had promised her. It was called the Taj Mahal. So, that's the story of a great king who had everything, but lost the one thing that mattered most. What secrets lie between the covers of a book? Some books hold tales of epic adventure, others of breathless romance. This is a story about a book which had far greater ambitions. It is a book about the vastness and wonder of the universe. Who has not sat and marveled at the mysteries of the night sky? The curve of the river, the shining one, the glance of the lion, the dancer, let me tell you a story about a man who loved to look at the stars and who wrote a book of such wisdom and beauty that it changed the world forever. Our story will take us to distant galaxies and the mountains of the moon. But first, we must go back 1,000 years to the boundless deserts of Arabia, where the crystal clear night sky pulsed with the sparkling light of countless stars. to where a boy with 1,000 questions in his mind began his life's journey. To a camel caravan crossing a sea of sand, following a route that was as old as time itself, carrying the riches of the East to the edges of the Islamic world, to waiting ships which would bear their goods to the far corners of the earth. Myrrh, pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, cassia, thyme, saffron, incense for the churches of Europe. Theirs was a long and merciless journey. The sand seas stretched for boundless miles under a scorching sun. The caravan master's word was law. All the caravan obeyed his command. One small mistake would lead to certain death. And so it was that the caravan masters would often cross Arabia in the cool of the night. And above them was a sparkling map, which for generations had guided them across the desert. The caravan master was keeper of this ancient knowledge. But there was one incorrigible boy who would not stop asking questions. How do we know where we are going? The boy wanted to know. The caravan master gazed heavenwards. The Quran tells us, he said, "It is God who ordained the stars for you, that you may be guided thereby in the darkness of the land and the sea." And so we found a way to know the passage of time and to find land to graze our camels by observing the groups of stars we call the mansions of the moon. Can you see that single star shining brightly? The master asked him. The boy had keen eyes and he told him he could. That star there, the master told him, tells us which way is north. The boy was entranced because there was only one star and the sky was filled with billions. The boy wanted to know about all of them. The string of pearls, the solitary one,